Boom. That's a word that describes the early 1950s. It was a time of booms. There was a housing boom. People were starting families and after the war, and mortgages were low because of the Servicemen's Readjustment Act. And so there's a housing boom. We invent the suburbs. We invent Allentown, Pennsylvania. We do all of these things. It's just a huge boom. It's an economic boom. The house led by startups and housing. The economy was just growing, and it was a sustained period of economic growth. I have to add to this new technologies that are being developed in support of the space race, in support of the Cold War. As people go to colleges, they're opening new businesses, or they're taking existing businesses like IBM, which made typewriters, and turning it into IBM the computer people. It was an economic boom. And then there's also a baby boom. All these people coming back from the war ready to start families. They got married, they started having children. The number of children per family went up over what it was in the Great Depression. And so we see this uptick of population. Our population grows pretty steadily, and then you get to the 1940s, the 1950s, and it starts growing really fast. And now it's back kind of a little bit flatter. In fact, actually, the United States now has a negative population growth. Most people don't realize that. Without immigration, our population would actually go down every year as more Americans die than are being born. However, in the 1950s, that was not the case. People were, because of economic prosperity, they were living longer. They were more mobile because of economic prosperity, and they were willing to have larger families. And this is not necessarily because they didn't have a choice. They did have a choice. The family planning by way of the pill was beginning to become available, and so particularly middle class and upper class women had access to contraception. And so when we talk about having a population boom, it was not necessarily, it was okay with people. They were, our population is going to continue to grow. All right, and that's why we call the people who were born during this time period, we call them baby boomers, because they were born in a time of housing booms, economic booms, and baby booms.